There are a total of 19 agencies that are already involved in responding to this disaster. And it's the collaboration of all of those 19 agencies that's leading to such a prolific and effective response to this disaster so far. There are about 200 firefighters who are engaged in fighting this blaze. There are 5 aircraft, including 4 Black Hawks and 1 air attack provided by the Texas National Guard, 6 dozers, 4 of which are state and 2 of which are private. 3 different law enforcement agencies are assisting with approximately 30 personnel. Those agencies are the Medina County Sheriff's Office, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and the Texas Parks and Wildlife Game Wardens. So let's start with some good news. The good news is, as of right now, there have been no lives lost. That's so incredibly important, because one thing that we all know, and that is property can be destroyed, but you can rebuild property. If you lose a life, you can't rebuild anything. And so I applaud the people who are living in harm's way, as well as the local law enforcement, the responders, as well as the media, for getting information out to inform people about ways in which they can protect their lives. Whatever happens to this fire in the coming days, the most important thing that you all can do is to protect your lives. There will be people protecting your property constantly, but do everything you can to save your own life. Similarly, there are no reported injuries, which is fantastic news. Now, all that said, there are almost 1,000 acres that are on fire or have been burned as we're speaking right now, and obviously that could increase. It's about 10% contained at this moment in time. There have been 3 homes completely destroyed by the fire. There are others who may have suffered some level of damage. It's uncertain at this particular stage. There are about 37 homes that have been saved, and so a total of 40 that have been threatened. As you may know, there's been an evacuation order of High Mountain Ranch, and additional information will be constantly provided about the status of that evacuation order. It obviously depends on the status of the fire. One very important point I want to convey to everybody who may be subject to an evacuation order. Your sheriff is working with his team around the clock with the available assistance of the Texas Department of Public Safety to make sure that the streets of any area that's going to be evacuated will be constantly patrolled, so there will be no looting, no potential outside damage coming in to break into your home, to loot anything or take anything. It will all be secured by law enforcement in this area. The reason for that evacuation order is because of the assessment of local officials that is needed to help save the lives of people who could be in harm's way. Now, in addition to that, currently there are about 119 homes that are without power. The reason for that is because the fire either has caused damage to power lines or power structure, or power lines and power structure are in the imminent pathway of being harmed or destroyed by the fire, which of course could lead to even more and greater damages. And all I can tell you is that those responsible for getting those power lines back up and running and operational and restoring the power to those homes, they're working as swiftly as they possibly can, but their hands are tied by the status of the fire. So if you happen to be in one of the homes without power, just know that there will be people working around the clock to get that restored as quickly and as safely as it can be restored. Because of the level of damages that have already been sustained here in Medina County, I'm going to be issuing a disaster declaration for Medina County. This disaster declaration, it accelerates the capabilities for Medina County to be able to respond to this disaster. It makes available all the state resources that may be needed to respond to this, and it adds to the other counties for which I've already declared a disaster, which altogether will go towards a potential request that we will be making of the federal government for a federal disaster declaration. For a recap of that, in addition to Medina County, I've already declared disasters in Blanco, Brown, Comanche, Erath, Hood, Potter, Runnels, Williamson, Brooks, Coleman, Eastland, Grayson, Mason, Rendell, and Starr counties. And so these are challenging times across the state of Texas with regard to different types of disasters that we're dealing with. But we know that with this proclamation and with the response that we've seen, the outcome for Medina County is going to be far better than it would have been. A couple of closing remarks, and then I'm going to have the county judge talk to you. One thing that we need that corresponds with this disaster declaration, we need damage assessments. For us to be able to receive a federal disaster declaration, we need to know what the monetary damage is so we can report it to the federal government. There is a location where you can do that, and it's this right here, which is damage.tdem.texas.gov. If you would get that out to the public so the public will know where to go to provide the information about the potential amount of damages you've sustained, that's going to help the state of Texas as well as Medina County respond more quickly and help on you get the relief that you need. I'm going to say something that the county judge may also say, but there's a local site that you can go to provide also information, and that's medinacountytexas.org, medinacountytexas.org. One last thing, and that is there have been people who were displaced by this fire, including the people who live in the 3 homes that have been completely destroyed, including the people who are subject to the evacuation order. Right now, a location that provides shelter for them is Loma Alta Middle School. That is going to change later on today for the reason that tomorrow that school is going to open back up for educational purposes. There will be an announcement later on today about where additional shelter operations will be held for those who have been displaced. With that said, I will pass it now over to the Medina County Judge.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you for y'all's rapid response on coming here. We are blessed that we've had no injuries and no deaths because of this terrible fire, and we're sorry for the 3 homes that have been destroyed, but if you were up in that neighborhood and saw how close it got to so many other homes, you would be thinking there was a miracle that that was only 3 homes that have been destroyed, because that neighborhood has been damaged severely by fire, and by the grace of God, there's been a whole lot of houses that have been saved, and so we're thankful for that. Most importantly, I guess we're thankful to you and Chief Kidd and TDEM and the A&M Forest Service and the 19 or 20 different organizations that have come to this county to help us. I'm impressed that we're sitting here and there's people coming from East Texas, North Texas, West Texas, from places I've never heard of. I had to stop a guy the other day and say, I'm sorry, but where is Needham, Texas at? And it's not even on the map, but we've been blessed that so many organizations have come to help, and we hope that we can repay that favor to those places, hopefully not because of a disaster like this, but we have been blessed. Our local emergency services district has done a tremendous job, and the organization that has come to us from the state and local government has been tremendous. Today, by the grace of God, we're going to hold on to this fire, and it's not going to go any further. And I don't want to jinx us, but we are, as we sit here right now, it's kind of being held, but it just takes one spark to set it off again. And yesterday, that's what happened at about 10 o'clock or 11. One spark took it off again, and it became another disaster. So, but I can't say enough about the response that the state and all the organizations here have done for us. And, just pray to God that I asked Chief Kidd First thing he asked me, what do you need? I said, rain. And I'm still waiting on that.
Yes, sir.
So please, we just need some rain and, in more ways than one to help us all out across this state. But, thank you so much for all that y'all have done.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And now the Medina County Emergency Manager, Keith Lutz.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Governor. Just going to really kind of piggyback just a little bit off of what the judge said, but really just starting at the response, the very beginning, and that would be our local responders, first responders, did a fantastic job of assessing quickly and calling and saying we really need some assistance. And we reached out immediately to the Forest Service. As they said, you know, we've lost 1,000 acres, but I truly believe if it wouldn't have been for the quick response of the state, I mean, it could be easily double that or more right now. So we, I mean, it was very, very quickly getting some assets in place. And again, our first responders here locally just holding that line as best we could while we were waiting on, we need itself a lot bigger than Medina County has. So we just can't say enough about the thank yous to the state. And then also to the residents, that we appreciate you guys being patient and gracious with us. We're sorry about your loss, and we're gonna, nobody out of all these first responders, everybody wants you back in your homes as quickly as possible, because that means they all get to go back home quickly. So we appreciate y'all. We're gonna take really good care of your property while we have care of it, and we just appreciate you, Governor, for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now the Chief of the Texas Division of Emergency Management, Nim Kidd.
Thank you, Governor, and I want to echo the comments before. It's the volunteers of the Medina County Emergency Services District that left their homes and their jobs to be first on scene, and they've done a remarkable job out there. They really have, Governor. It's been amazing. The rest of the responders that come across the state, we thank them. Life safety is always our #1 priority, and it always will be. And so for those that have been displaced from your homes and evacuated, believe me, it is so that we can get responders in there quick enough. We can make sure that we're extinguishing this fire as fast as possible and get you back to your home as soon as humanly possible. Property protection and conservation is our second goal, and we aim to do that right now. You'll see a lot of aircraft flying today. You've seen a lot of bulldozers that have been moving into those areas. And then we also want to protect the environment, doing everything we can to keep the water in this area as clean as possible. Power is going to be a problem. You heard the governor say there's 119 homes without power right now. And as he said, the reason is because fire has either damaged those lines or damaged the infrastructure going to them. We cannot re-energize that power for fear of starting another fire, and that's the last thing that we need right now. And so this is, hopefully you'll see this as a very passionate plea. The fire weather the rest of the day today and through the next several days is going to continue to be bad. And it takes one small spark to start another fire. You've got a lot of resources in this county right now. They're making great progress on this fire. But I ask the citizens that are out working around their yards and doing cleanup today, please be very careful and be fire wise. The fastest way to get help is to call 911 if you have a fire. Do not delay and try to fight it by yourself, but quickly call for those resources. And then finally, Governor, I want to thank all the donations that have been coming in. We've seen around this fire station and the school donations for people, donations for pets. The community's just been remarkable on that. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. We'll take a few questions. Go ahead.
Those 3 homes that were destroyed by this fire, have those property owners surveying that damage was reported?
Sure.
Yes, they have been. They were notified yesterday evening by the Sheriff's Department. We do not know when you'll be able to go back in there. That's going to come from Incident Command, and it's probably not in the immediate future. I don't think it's probably not tomorrow. It could be a couple of days or so before we would be looking at that.
Do you have a rough idea of how many people have been evacuated or displaced?
We had 40. We have 40 homes that we have basically under the evacuation notice at the moment.
It's my understanding that this fire was caused by a vehicle fire.
Correct.
Do we know any more information on how that vehicle caught fire to begin with?
Some type of mechanical issue. Of course, it's on one of our county roads that have a lot of vegetation on the side of them, and when they began to have mechanical issues, they just naturally pulled off the side of the road, which would be a good message. You know, we're not taught to block the roads, but in current conditions, staying up on the asphalt with a burning vehicle is not a bad idea right now, but that's what caused it. It just, the vegetation caught fire, and it was very big, very quickly.
And you're saying this is the worst fire we've seen in this area to date. Can you all speak to the significance of what is burned at this point?
I'll tell you this, and there's, listen, every fire is significant, but when you see the size and magnitude of this, as well as its potential, if it's not going to be contained, is dangerous. It's particularly dangerous when you see homes evacuated and homes lost. And that's why we wanted to make sure that the state was doing everything we possibly can to minimize, if not eliminate, any further loss of homes and to continue to prevent the loss of life. Listen, when you see homes burned down, things can get out of control very quickly. And to know that there's been no one who's lost their life or injured is a miracle. And we want to make sure we save lives and prevent any other structures from burning down.
Two more questions?
No, in some of the areas with meds or some medication that they need to function on a daily basis, there was a possibility of maybe having escorts helping them go in and find their pets or their medication. Can you talk
Yes.
about that?
We have done that. We've had some that have needed that, and yes, through the incident command, and then we'll put them either with the fire personnel or law enforcement and get them if it's a needed supply.
And will any agencies be helping with medications that may be needed for people that might not be able to go back home?
Yes. Yeah, we'll work with the local officials, the sheriff's department, and the firefighters. If that comes to the point, then we'll work with our local pharmacies to make sure that they're taken care of.
Final question?
What's the best way for people to be notified when they can go back home? You say a few days. I mean, we're kind of just, it's a waiting game right now because of the
Yeah.
weather, right?
Yes, so a couple of things. One of them, we're trying to post everything to the Facebook page on the Medina County Office of Emergency Management. We also have, if you go back to the governor gave you our website, medinacountytexas.org. On the opening page, there's a logo, kind of looks like the Alamo. It says ARC on it. That's iInfo, how we send out all of our emergency messaging for the county. We highly encourage, not just for this occasion, but to sign up for those notices, because it goes on that immediately as well. So if you could register for that information, that would be the place to do that.
Keith is constantly updating that iInfo, so he's giving out messages, so everybody that's on iInfo, it's kind of a free ad here, but everybody that's on it gets the message. If you're not on it, go on to the medinacountytexas.org website and look it up and sign up, and you'll be a part of the messaging then.
Great, thank you.
Thank you all so much for getting the message out.
Thank you.